Welcome back to the channel, y'all. If you've never been here before, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Click the bell next to the subscribe button so you are notified every time a new video goes up on this channel. This is another immigration update video, and things have taken another turn for the worst. Honestly, in the next couple of years, I can just say my advice would be to expect things to get really bad before things even get better. So, the new news that is out as of July 1st, 2025, is that ICE agents are now snatching up migrants who have open court cases. New York City official lawyer says that it is utterly unlawful, but they're doing it anyways. Usually, they snatch somebody up whose case has now been dismissed or thrown out, or before they could get a chance to appeal, which they said before was also unlawful, but now they're not even giving you a chance. They're just snatching people up. So in a sudden escalation in President Donald Trump's mass deportation effort, ICE agents are snatching and detaining migrants with pending immigration court cases at the lower Manhattan courthouses, a move which the city officials and attorneys have blasted as utterly unlawful. In the past month, Department of Homeland Security attorneys have routinely moved to dismiss asylum seekers' cases in court in hopes that the judge will grant the dismissal, rendering those individual asylum cases non-existent and making them subject to expedited removal. Federal agents have been just sitting inside the courthouses, right out in the hallways, just waiting. I don't know if you've ever seen crows. In Jamaica, we call them John crows. You see the John crow circling in a group, you know that there's dead meat over there or something is dying slowly, some wild animal, and they're waiting for the animal to completely die before they dive down and partake in the feast. That's kind of like what the ICE agents look like in these hallways. It's scary if you're walking into one of these places, right? Now, federal agents have been seen sitting inside or just outside of the courtroom and staging themselves even in the hallways to ambush and arrest these migrants as they step foot outside of the courtroom. More recently, ICE agents are detaining migrants regardless of whether the judge tossed their cases out or not. That's the part where everybody is now having a problem with. More recently, ICE agents are detaining migrants regardless of whether the judge tossed their case out or not. And according to the city comptroller Brand Lander and several immigration officers, this is exactly what is going on. So you could have a very valid case. You could be pretty much waiting on your date for your case to be decided. ICE is snatching you before your case gets decided. What's happening now is that people who clearly have status as asylum seekers, either a motion to dismiss is not being made or not being granted yet. They have pending asylum applications open. The judge is granting them a hearing to present their credible fears. And nonetheless, ICE, without any rationale whatsoever, is grabbing these people and are disappearing with them. It is unlawful, utterly unlawful, said one attorney. Lander said that he observed asylum hearings at 290 Broadway on Friday, including one case where the judge gave a Guatemalan woman another hearing for her case, saying that she should come back to court February of 2027. Nonetheless, in the hallway, on her way out of the courtroom with this new date given to her by the judge, a masked ICE agent detained her and said, "When I ask, do you plan to produce them for the February 2027 hearing? Or are you processing them for deportation?" This is what the attorney asked as he was standing there with them taking her away. And the attorney said, of course, they refused to answer any questions. They grabbed her and they disappeared with her. The attorney said that he also watched two brothers break down crying in the courtroom, saying that they are certain that they will be killed as their father had been killed if they were to be deported back to Colombia. Now, because the pair's private immigration attorney was a no-show, the judge granted them another hearing for February of 2027. ICE agents arrested both of them anyways when they left the courtroom. I can't imagine what the legal ground here would be if they were not stripped of status. They have status as asylum seekers. The federal government accepted their asylum applications, and a federal immigration judge granted them a hearing on those asylum applications. That's how the process goes. So, what grounds could there have been for their arrest and their removal? I have no idea, says the attorney. And I'm pretty sure ICE agents who removed them have no idea either. Benjamin Remy, an immigration attorney with New York's Legal Assistance Group, has been at 26 Federal Plaza nearly every single day since the courthouse arrest began, giving legal advice to the migrants on their way into the courtroom as they are being hauled away by these federal agents on their way back out. Remy and his NYLAG colleagues, attorney Allison Cutler, said that they had previously seen federal agents detaining people whose cases had not been dismissed when courthouse arrests began in late May. They just swooped down in a courthouse, grabbed anybody. For several weeks, this appeared to be less common, but in the past few weeks, they said they have seen numerous people get detained despite having open cases and a legitimate status to be here. I tell these ICE guys, this really just boils down to getting people their day in court, man. The judge denies their case, then that's that. The judge grants their case, then that's that. But people deserve to have that opportunity to go into the court, to present their evidence, to testify, and let the chips fall where they may. That's the legal process. And basically, everyone we're seeing detained is being robbed of that legal process. Now, mind you, if the court date is called and these people do not show up, they are automatically going to receive a deportation order in their absence. So all the people who are being grabbed at the courthouses are actually people who are trying to do things the legal way. You said to do things the legal way. These people are doing things the legal way, and they're the ones who are suffering. You know who you're not catching at these courthouses? The ones who have decided to run and hide and wait out this administration. Why are you punishing the ones who are doing things the legal way like you ask? Cutler chimed in, emphasizing that asylum is actually a right. It is a legal right. We are obligated under international laws to hear asylum applications. If someone expresses fear of returning to their country, we must hear their asylum case, she said. The reason that those laws were created was because of the Holocaust and the Jews and the genocide. And so to avoid that happening again somewhere else or there, this is what this government decided to do. And this administration is simply refusing to follow that. Those who are detained with open asylum cases, they will have to fight their case from inside of a detention center. Often in faraway states like Texas and Louisiana, where many of them are being shipped off to as they prepare them for deportation. Paige Austin, an attorney with Make the Road New York, she said that she has seen judges write detailed written decisions denying the government's motion to dismiss in some migrants' cases and still witnessed ICE detain those same persons even after the judge wrote a detailed note, handwritten, judge, typed out, detailed note. ICE oversteps and still takes them into custody. We totally think that this is not legal, Austin said. It feels like they're just grabbing people, they're just snatching up Even the people that can't be removed are getting snatched up. They're just trying to funnel them into the system. Austin noted that fighting a case from detention, often across the country, becomes logistically complicated and for some people even impossible, which leads to wrongful deportation. And what are they supposed to do? Their families are in New York, right? They may have trouble affording counsel, and it's hard to gather evidence when you have them in detention, moved them from New York all the way to Texas, and all the little resources they have is here in New York. Data that has been gathered by the American Immigration Council analyzing over 1.2 million deportation cases decided between 2007 and 2012 found that only 3% of those detained migrants without legal representation actually avoided deportation, compared with 3% of detained migrants who had legal representation. So, in other words, if you're snatched up, more than likely you won't be able to avoid deportation. Only at 3% out of a 1.2 million. As for migrants who were never detained, 78% of those with legal representation actually avoided deportation versus only 15% of those without representation. So basically the number says if you're not detained, most of these people are able to get legal representation, fight their case, and at a 78% level avoid deportation and have their status adjusted. But once they're caught up with ICE and detained, only 3% make it out. Austin said that she has seen many migrants decide to give up and just self-deport just to avoid the possible detention. You don't know where they're sending you, despite being in the middle of a legal court process to obtain asylum, and things look like they could be in their favor. That includes a lot of people who remain scared to go to their country. So they're saying, I'm going to get deported and then I'm going to flee again. When asked to explain why ICE agents are detaining migrants whose cases have not been dismissed, a Department of Homeland Security spokesperson did not address the question directly, but in a statement that was attributed to Assistant Secretary Tricia McClellan, they stated that most aliens who illegally entered the U.S. in the past 2 years are subjected to expedited removal. The others might be able to fight their way out, but if you came in within the past 2 years, then 99% of those are subjected to expedited removal. Biden ignored this legal fact, and he chose to release millions of illegal aliens, including violent criminals, into this country with a notice to appear before an immigration judge, is what the statement said from ICE. ICE is now following the law, and we're placing these illegal aliens in expedited removals as they always should have been. And that's all they have to say about it. So, newsflash of the day, ICE agents are now snatching migrants who have open court cases, not those with a decided court case, but those who are actively in the middle of having their cases being heard. Snatch them up out of here, and the process is not complete. Just putting it out there. Hey, you get what you vote for, right? Yeah, I'll leave this one right here for now. Leave your comments in the comment section below. Tell me what you think about this one. Do you know anyone who is affected or any of your family members affected by this? I'll catch you on the next video. Hit that subscribe button. I'm out. Peace.